would you advise somebody who's looking to start investing? And like you said, you started with what you had as a teenager, as a young adult, and most people now they think they need like high six figures or some big paying job. So what would you say to someone like that?
So what I would say to somebody is it doesn't matter how much money you make. It's the key thing is consistency. It's formulating a plan and staying consistent with it. So what a lot of people think is, oh, I have to have a lot of money. People always ask me, how much money should I start with? I can't answer that. You could start with $10. You could start with $20. They say that the number one key to becoming a millionaire in life is not actually how much money you make, it's your behavior. So your behavior is what dictates, how much money you're going to make. I'll give you an example. If I'm correct, last I checked, they looked at the occupations that produce the most millionaires. So the occupations that produce the most millionaires in a person's lifespan. Now, teachers across America, they don't make that much money. Their salaries aren't very high. They're not, but like third on the list of millionaires. And it goes, and one of the things that teachers have to their advantage is teachers do lesson planning. They create a plan that they try to stick to in their lesson. Now, of course, things happen where it throws you off course, but you have a plan and you have something that you're trying to stick to. Well, most people, when they invest or even deal with their money, they don't have a plan for it. They don't have a situation where they're saying, okay, this money's going to go for here. I'm going to use this dollar for here. I'm going to use this money for this. They just take their money and just willy-nilly spend it, do whatever. You have to have a consistent plan and have behavior. I always tell people discipline is freedom. So the more disciplined you are, the freer you will become in life. You understand? So it's kind of like if you're undisciplined with your eating habits, then you're probably eventually gonna have to diet. I'm gaining weight after diet. That undiscipline took away your freedom. Whereas if you're disciplined with your diet and you want to go on vacation, enjoy yourself. If you're disciplined with your finances over time, you'd be amazed how many nice things you can buy if you're just disciplined. The most disciplined people in the world are the freest people in the world. The most undisciplined people in the world, they have no freedom. They're locked into something that they can't enjoy life. And that's the key. It's discipline and behavior. Pick a plan, formulate a plan, and literally stick to it. It does not matter how much money you make.
Wow, that's pretty dope. That's a great way to explain it.
Yep. Discipline is freedom.
No, that's really dope. And out, that's really dope. But I want to go back to something you said earlier. As you was getting through your journey, that you don't check the stock market, your portfolio that often. I guess you want to elaborate about that emotional part. When you're always checking it. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah. So when it comes to the stock market, for example, people get emotional. So for example, when things are going up or good, they feel great. It's like I forget the word, but endorphins, right? You get excited, when things are down and going badly, you get emotional because you see the red arrow going down, you see your numbers in the red. So people in emotion tend to do illogical things. You understand? And the one thing about investing is don't become emotional because you will make illogical decisions. So, for example, when the market was off earlier this week, it was off big, like 500 or 600 points. I didn't look at it. I didn't look at my portfolio because you're going to look at it and it's going to make you jittery to, didn't look at it because the end game is this is for the long term. The market goes in waves. So you have to be strategic with that. And you don't want to get addicted to it. I do check what's going on in the markets daily. I do look what's going on in the markets today. Why is it happening? But my personal portfolio, my stock portfolio, some days I won't look at it. I'm like, market's not doing good today, Jamal. Don't check it out. Let it alone. Because in the end, in your account, it's just a number. You don't make a lose until you actually sell. So until then, it's unrealized. It's just a number. Let it go. This is for the long term.
No, that's a great way to look at it. That's definitely a great way to look at it. And I guess being that said, what would you say is the biggest lesson you have learned in terms of investing so far?
The biggest lesson I've learned is so far, because I told you I've lost money doing stupid things, is investing it's not gambling. So you really have to create a strategy and don't do something silly. Investing is actually not that hard in the stock market, at least. It's not that hard. You have to know what you're doing to a degree. You have to study. You have to learn a little bit. But once you get your plan down, stick to the plan. You know, old adage is you should invest 15% of what you make, and 15%. The other thing I would tell people is when you are investing or looking to invest, save and invest first and then spend your money. What most people do is they spend their money and then save and invest. So one of the biggest things I learned is I treat myself like a business, and I invest in my business first, meaning me first, before I invest or spend money anywhere else. So every time I get paid, every 2 weeks I get paid, money is already allotted and going to me before I pay the light bill, this dinner. And if I can't afford to do anything after I've invested in myself, then I just can't afford to do it. So it's just stick with the plan. Don't gamble, don't do anything silly, stick with the plan.
That's great. And it's funny you mentioned gambling because oftentimes people see the stock market as like a gamble. Because yes, you can do all the research, but at the same time you can still be wrong. With your or you educate your guests. So what would you say to those kind of people who just, because of that, their mindset of they think is a gamble, is not 100% sure that you can make money. That's why they stay away from investing. They just save and save.
Well, here's what I would tell those people. First of all, saving money, you're losing money there, right there, because that's a gamble. Because inflation last year, they're saying was 7%. It was higher, but inflation was 7%. Your money in the bank is not getting 7% return. So right then and there, you're losing money. You're seeing the same number, but your purchasing power is lower. So putting your money just in the bank, you cannot save yourself wealthy. It just cannot happen. You have to invest. So the other thing I would tell people is, getting in a car, you can die in a car accident, but you still will get in the car and take that risk with your life. So, now you can mitigate the risk, you can get in your car, but don't speed, make sure you check your blind spot, make sure you can limit the risk, but you still are going to drive your car, and you are kind of, people go in an airplane, you're taking a gamble there also. So, but in order to live life, you have to take little gamble. Not saying that you're gambling, but you have to take some risk. Now, the risk can be calculated. I'm not saying just go out, pick a stock and throw money at it. You got to do a little bit of research. You got to check your blind spot. There's multitude of things that you can invest in. You don't have to invest in individual stocks. You can invest in a mutual fund or an ETF that provides a lot of protection for you. The other thing I would suggest to people is, don't put all your eggs in one basket. I have multiple different investments that I do outside of the stock market. So if you do multiple investments, like real estate, commodities, so forth, so on, cryptocurrency is popular now. If you have multiple forms of investments, if this investment on the left isn't doing that well, the one on the right might be doing well. And it kind of holds you up. You understand? So investing isn't just the stock market. There's many different forms of investing, and it takes work. You have to work at it. You have to learn it, talk to people who are knowledgeable about it. But that's how you grow your wealth. Most people who become wealthy do not have one form of investment. They have many forms of investment. And that's what I try to do. I have different forms of investment that I invest in. So the stock market was down last week. Okay, that stinks. But my real estate property, the rent still came in. You see what I'm saying? And that's how I have to look at it.